Hi, welcome on to the AFTV Tactical Insight Show. Graham, good to see you again, mate. I ain't seen you for a few weeks.
No, the last one was Man United.
Yeah, it was the international break and stuff like that, but we're back. What can I say? We're not back in a very good mood because Arsenal suffered a really damaging defeat away at Everton. Yet another defeat on the road for Arsenal. Impeccable at home, but away from home, we're awful. We are the real Jekyll and Hyde team of the Premier League when it comes to our home and away form. And you're going to talk us through, well, I want two things out of you today. I want you to, first of all, talk us through why we were so bad yesterday and what Everton did. I thought Everton were brilliant, by the way, and what Everton did to stop us from playing. And also, I then want you to talk me through why it is, and I asked quite a few fans this yesterday and nobody seemed to be able to come up with the answer. And I thought, Graham, the Oracle, he might have the answer, right? Why is it we are so bad away from home? As I said, Jekyll and Hyde at home, brilliant. Nobody can beat us at home, only City have done that in the league. Away from home, anybody can take us apart. Why? So we'll get into that in a minute, but first of all, Everton versus Arsenal. Fire away.
Yeah, before I do so, can I just sort of congratulate you on being nominated in, is it 4 categories in the FBAs next month?
Is it 4 categories?
I think it's 4, isn't it?
I didn't even know that. Okay, brilliant.
Including Best Podcast, I think, for...
All Guns Blazing.
All Guns Blazing.
Okay.
So, and obviously, slightly bittersweet that, because obviously being part of AFTV, I like seeing you do well, but just let you know that I'm in that category. Best podcast with another of AFTV regulars, lead judges.
Yeah.
And we are part of Same Old Arsenal.
That's a good podcast. It's a very good podcast.
I'll tell you what, we're so pleased to be in the finals, Rob, because it's all about being there in Manchester next month. And there's some great podcasts in that category, not just ourselves in All Guns, which is a great podcast, by the way.
It's a bit like the race for the top 4, that category, you know what I mean?
So I'm pleased that we got there. But,
congratulations, that's brilliant.
So
it's a good point. Great podcast. You know, you lot guys must be in a great shout to win it.
I won't say that. I mean, but that means that you'll be voting for us, won't you?
Yeah, of course, man. of course. You know I'll support you.
I don't think DT will be happy about that.
Can't vote for ourselves, can we?
No, right. And just one other point I'd like to make before we start today is I just want to congratulate Watford in getting into the FA Cup final.
Yeah, what a comeback that was yesterday. So of course we got them. We got them next week, right? And is that going to be something that's going to make them play better now, that give them more confidence, or is that going to be something that's going to relax them a bit? They're all going to be kind of like, oh, I don't want to get injured before the FA Cup final. Who knows? But it was an incredible comeback by them. A friend of mine, a Watford fan, went yesterday. Absolutely fantastic day he had. Yeah. And I was saying to him last night, I just wanted to congratulate him on getting to that final. Watford getting to the final, and also Kapui and Gomez, who had to leave Tottenham to get to a cup final. But anyway, something to cheer me up. But now you're going to dampen down my spirits again, because yesterday, you know, we were terrible against Everton. Now, let us know why.
Do you know what? I thought that he had established a template against Tottenham away, that 4-2-3-1, and I thought that was the formation that he would take into this game. So I was really surprised by the way he's set up, and he seems to have switched to this back 3 now, almost like every game. And the thing about the Tottenham performance, it wasn't just the work rate and the aggressiveness and the will to win, is I thought we played well in a shape that is a template for an away team, away from home. And we played a 4-2-3-1 that day with a back 4. We had 2 holding midfielders, a third man running midfielder, who was Ramsey, in behind a forward of Xhaka and Guendouzi that day. And then we had 2 wide forwards, working hard in wide areas, supporting the fullbacks and getting forward, and a focal point with Lacazette. Now, when you're away from home, Robbie, that is the template for me, a 4-2-3-1, which is to play on the counter-attack, to be pragmatic, to soak up pressure, but also to hit teams on the break. And I think the problem we've got at the moment, we haven't got a defined style of play away from home. If you look at all the other top teams, Liverpool, Man City and Spurs, they've all got a defined style of play. Tottenham hit wide areas, play out long from the back, hitting wide areas to take the ball up the pitch. Liverpool get the ball forward quickly to their pacey players, and Manchester City have got their style of play, which is unique to the style of players they've got. They've got fantastic players, of course. But I think the thing is, for Emery, I think he hasn't yet defined us away from home. Now, away form is absolutely shocking. We've taken 6 points out of the last 27. Only Fulham, Huddersfield and Bournemouth have got worse away records. We haven't got a clean sheet yet away from home. And if we don't get into that top 4, that's going to be the reason why. Now, I watched the game back last night, and obviously when I was watching it yesterday, you know, sort of like, watching it yesterday was very frustrating for you guys who are up there watching it live. And I think all the guys, DT, Troops, Claude, Mo and Lee, nailed it in the interviews afterwards, why we were so poor. And I watched it back again last night twice, suffered it twice. And I think a lot of the problems we had is the way we set up Robbie. With he played the 3 at the back, Mustafi, Socrates, Monreal. And then he played El Neni and Guendouzi in a 2. Now, I think El Neni, for me, works in a 3. If he had, say, Ramsey in here or Mkhitaryan in a 3, that would have been better than just 2, because I don't think El Neni works in a 2. He keeps it simple. He's got a lot of energy, but he can't offer much more than that. I think we needed a 3 in that area. And the problem we had yesterday was, I think, that the way Everton pressed us from the front, and we were sort of struggling to make connections, struggling to play through the lines, as a result of which Ozil, who was meant to be playing wide right in the first half, was coming deeper to get the ball. As a result of that, Maitland-Niles was pushing up. There was no connection there. They were just playing it across the side there. Mkhitaryan was left out here. And I think we struggled to get the ball forward because of that reason. Everton were really clever. They played a high press with these 4 players on our 3 centre-halves. And what they did was Coleman pushed up when he could. So did the other full-back, Digne, is that how you say it? Digne, yeah. And they boxed our wing-backs in. So basically our wing-backs couldn't really affect the game. So what annoyed me about it was Everton are a high-pressing team. They're probably in the top 3 or 4 pressing teams in the league. And I think if he had played us back 4 yesterday, we could have played out over their press. Their 2 midfielders, central midfielders, do push up as well. So, but they don't press as a team. You know, when you want to press, you have to press in a cohesive unit. These 2 do not press up with the other 4. There's gaps there, and I think if we could have gone out over their press, we would have had joy if we'd had it set up better up top, which we didn't have. So I think we didn't have the connections yesterday to play out through their press. They were quite happy for Mustafi and Socrates and Monreal to keep knocking it square. The other thing they did really well at Everton is what they tended to do was Gomez all game was knocking out diagonals out to Richarlison, taking advantage of Kolasinac being forward, drawing Monreal out in the first half, and then when Kolasinac went off at half time, Monreal was in a 4 and he kept pushing forward because we were chasing the game, and they were hitting the diagonals to Richarlison and later Walcott in those wide areas and getting in that area, and they could have had more goals. They are toothless up front, as Lee Judges said, really. Had they had better forwards yesterday, they would have won by more. And I think this formation just doesn't work away from home for the simple reason it's not set up to play to our strengths. And I think he did change it at half time. For me, I would have taken Ozil off. I know Lee Gunner's going to be rejoicing when I say that. but I would have taken Ozil off yesterday. And I would have brought on Iwobi. I would have kept El Neni and Guendouzi on. Not for the simple reason they were playing very well, because you could have taken the whole team off at half time, really. But for the simple reason, if you brought on Ramsey played forward of the 2 in a 3, instead of playing in the 2, Ramsey could have then got more forward. He did start, first 15 minutes he got forward a bit, but he was mindful of the fact he was in a 2. And I would have brought Iwobi on and shifted Mkhitaryan out to the right. So,
but that's what he did later on, and they were getting a bit of joy because, you know, immediately you saw, you know, when Iwobi, he was going past players, beating players, causing a different problem, you know, and he was putting balls in and stuff like that. It was a bit more, although we still didn't really have any chances. Let me just say one of the things that I picked up on yesterday. With these 2 in midfield, right, the defenders, every time they pass the ball to these 2, so to get, like you said, they're getting high pressed, so they pass the ball to these 2, all they ever did was pass it straight back to them. They hardly ever, right, looked at getting the ball up to here or to there or to, you know what I mean? They were so I mean, El Neni for me is what I call the safe player.
Yeah.
He never takes chances. He always just gets the ball and does whatever safety first. So if someone's pressing him, it'd be back to Socrates, back to Mustafi, back to Monreal, maybe even back to the goalkeeper. But he's just, he's never gonna run a little risk to try say maybe, or I'm not sure if he has the ability to maybe go past the Sigurdsson, open up a bit of space, free up people. So it was so predictable with these two in there. I mean, it was so easy. And that's where I felt we lost the game in that midfield area. I mean, obviously the goal was a very sloppy goal to give away, but, you know, it was just so poor in the midfield area. And then Ozil was just not even in the game, was he?
No, he wasn't.
We didn't get him the ball. And then the other thing is, as you said, why not sometimes when we're getting high pressed, hit a long ball?
Yeah.
We never tried to play the ball long once. We were trying to play it out from the back every single time, and we were just not making any headway. We weren't getting the ball up to Lacazette. We weren't getting the ball up later on to Aubameyang. We just weren't getting the ball up there. How are we going to score? Yeah. We're not going to score from here, are we?
No, I just don't think El Neni works in the two, because you want someone more who's not more dynamic.
If he works in a 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
No, I think that's unfair, Robbie. I think he works in the, yeah.
Why?
I think he can do a job for a team.
Where?
Well, sitting in front of the back. If you're playing a back four or even a back three, he can sit there and keep it simple with his energy of popping off passes. But he's not someone who's an incisive forward passer or someone who can break the lines, is he?
Well, that's what I mean. So what does he do? Well, I don't listen. I don't really.
You have to understand.
I don't want to over criticise him, because it is slightly unfair, because he hasn't really played a lot this season, and it is his first game in. And I understand all that. But in all the time he's been here, Mohamed El Neni, I cannot really remember a game where I say he was running it, he was dynamic, he always, as I said, he's just a safe player. He gets the ball, plays it sideways, plays it back, keeps hold of it a bit, puts the odd tackle in. When I compare him to, say, somebody like, what's the kid that we sent out, it slipped my mind now, that we sent out on loan?
Which one? Sent out so many on that.
Midfielder on loan who scored a lot of goals in the Europa League. Oh man,
Reece Nelson.
Not Reece Nelson.
Oh, Smith Rowe.
Smith Rowe. Sorry, Smith Rowe. Sorry, Smith Rowe. When Smith Rowe comes in, I know he plays further forward. But he has an impact on the game when he comes in. My thoughts is this, right? I don't know. I'm not in the Arsenal dressing room and stuff like that. But if I was a footballer and I was Mohamed El Neni, when I get in the team now, I want to be like, yeah, right, I'm going to show you, manager, what I can do and the reason why the next game I should be in. But he doesn't. He's just always safe all the time. It's just like sideways, backwards, backwards, backwards.
But do you think he'd work better in a better shape, Robbie? I mean, the three...
I think he'd work better on the bench. If I'm being honest.
Look,
I just don't...
He's an international footballer. That's the first thing I will say. But look, he's not... I get all that, and I can understand why. I
don't want to hate on the guy.
No, I think that's a bit unfair. He's barely been around the squad,
and he's hardly played, and I get that. But I just don't see him as an Arsenal player. I just don't see what he does when he comes in. I can. The only time I'm like, say yes, cool when he comes in is like, say we're winning 2-0, and you want to sort of lock down the game and bring him on. He can sort of keep hold of the ball, keep it. That's when the safety stuff comes into effect. Cool. But from the start of a game, as soon as I saw him on the team sheet yesterday, I was worried, because I know that the strength of Everton is their midfield. I'd seen
very physical
the week before,
yeah.
Right, when they played West Ham, this guy Gomez, I thought, is a very good player. So is Sigurdsson.
Yeah.
Idrissa Gueye is very good. Yeah. All three of those players, I think, could play in Arsenal's team.
Yeah.
They're very good players, right? Then I looked at our pair in here, and I was like, I'm worried. Because I know even Guendouzi he's more dynamic than El Neni, but I think he needs one of those big guys playing next to him.
Look, I think the selection of the players, the personnel, was slightly forced on him by the situation of injuries and suspensions.
Yeah,
we have to remember that
Koscielny one's a big one.
Well, first of all, Koscielny was out of the back, but Torreira was suspended yesterday. Yeah. He couldn't play. Xhaka was still injured, and Ramsey was nursing an injury. So
why not start with Ramsey? And if it's not working out, then bring El Neni on later on?
Yeah, he could. Well, you have to ask the manager. I'm not the manager, am I? But I think the thing is that I still think that would have worked better with Ramsey, 4 at the back and a 3, and then 2 wide players.
And left out Ozil.
Now the thing for me is if Ramsey wasn't fit yesterday to be at the top, why did he not move Mkhitaryan? Mkhitaryan could have played there maybe. Because he can drive from midfield. He can play a similar sort of role to Ramsey. He can run with the ball and he can get on the end. He can score goals.
And you could have put Iwobi out here.
Well, and you could have put Iwobi out this side, left Ozil out, and maybe played Suarez there. Suarez on the right, Iwobi on the left, and maybe Mkhitaryan more central in a 3. Now I think that would have been better. It's not so much about. I have to emphasise to you, Robbie. It's not so much. Elneny brought to the team yesterday what he brings to the team. Right now, if we no, Robbie, if we were
sorry, man, sorry. Listen, I'm sorry. I don't mean to be picking on him. Maybe
listen. I think that's
I was just still a bit hurt from yesterday. You know what I mean?
But if Elneny had played in that team yesterday in a 4 and a 2 holding players and a midfielder there, say in a 3, and then 2 wide players and a forward, we've won the game. You wouldn't be saying anything about Elneny's performance. You would have said he did a tidy job in front of the back 4, wouldn't you?
Yeah, but he didn't.
Well, no, because he did. Right? Elneny did in the game exactly what he does in a game.
What? Nothing.
He's just simple, and he offers energy and simplicity and continuity of passing.
But you, come on, you need more than that. This is the Premier League. I want to see. This is Arsenal Football Club. I need more than just, you know, you get the ball, you play it simple to you. I can do that. Right? Or there's many other players that could do. Oh, well, obviously I'm not a professional football, but you know what I mean, though. A standard, you could pluck a player from the Championship in that midfield who could do that. Just play it simple. You know what I mean? Get the ball neat and tidy, play it along, play it back, play it through. Try not to give it away. Safety, but we don't make no headway.
I think we got bigger issues than Elneny. All right.
No,
I take your point. Elneny, limited player, probably not an Arsenal player. But brought to the team yesterday what he brings to the team whenever he's played. And you remember Wenger signed
which is?
Simplicity, energy and continuity of passing around. He's not an incisive forward passer. He does. He's not somebody who can break the lines, but that's what his job was. I think the problem yesterday was more the shape, with 3 at the back and 2 holding midfielders. It's almost like it's similar to the West Ham game. Negative. Lack of creativity. West Ham 3-5-2. He played 2 forwards. Stood on there.
Why don't we play Aubameyang? Why don't we play Aubameyang and Lacazette?
Well, if we're going to concede, there is an argument. We concede so many. We can't keep a clean sheet away from home. We might as well play the 2 forwards because they score goals. But I think in these away games we got to set up like we set up against Tottenham. That to me was a template, Robbie. Not just in hard work and attitude, but the shape was all right to play on the counter attack with a 3rd man running midfielder joining 2 wide forwards and a centre forward. That to me is the right way to go away from home.
So what you're saying is basically away from home, leave out Ozil.
Yeah.
Okay, in a nutshell, you go around in it, but I'm saying, right? You know what? My second question that I posed right at the start of the show: why are we so bad away from home, but so good at home? I want you to break that down for me. I want to know.
Well, I think there's lots of reasons, right? I booked the day off for this. I think when we're at home, there's a different mentality. I think we're more on the front foot. I think we control the game, and we have teams don't attack us so much at home. That's the first point. Whereas we're not asked to defend so much, right? So we have more of the ball. We control the games more. Different mentality, and we play to our players' strengths, so we get the formation right. Away from home is a entirely different situation, and I think that away from home we sort of like the way we set up is wrong sometimes away from home. I think the players have got psychological issues away from home. The longer we go on this run where we're not keeping clean sheets affects them. So when we lose a goal. So I think there's psychological issues away from home. I do believe that. I think we lack physicality in the team, in the battle. And I think you've got to remember, I think this is deep rooted more around the signings from Wenger over the years, right? Particularly in defence, where I think that he bought a lot of technical defenders. We didn't buy proper defenders years ago. So the defenders we have got are not what I call proper defenders. We haven't bought a top quality defender for a long time, and by top quality I mean, you know, you pay a lot of money for a top quality defender. So we lack, I think, a good defence. I think when we play away from home, I just sort of like think he hasn't got the template yet, and that's what I feel when we go away from home, Robbie. I just don't think he's got the structure right in the team.
Should we just go away from home for the rest of this these games? Because listen, basically, if we don't get our act together away from home, forget the top four. And we've got Leicester, we've got Wolves, we've got Watford, we've got Burnley. The four really tough places to go to. None of those are walkovers. We've seen, like with Watford yesterday, their comeback. Wolves, very good team. Leicester on fire at the moment under their new manager Brendan Rodgers, and Burnley fighting for their lives, right? So if we go away from home and we don't get our act together, forget the top four. We've got to say that right now, right? Now, do you think maybe the manager should look on it and say, right, you know, from the end of the season, stuff it, we're just going to go for it. When we go away from home, we literally approach it like a home game. We're going to be positive, we're going to be on the front foot, forget all these defensive tactics and that. We're just going to be on the front foot. If we concede, we concede. We're conceding anyway. But just front foot, all these games now for the end of the season, toe to toe. We've got the firepower, bang.
Well, that was how Wenger used to play, wasn't it? And, you know, so there is an argument that's how you could go.
Can we get in the top four?
Well, it depends if he can fix this away form, doesn't it? Simple as that.
Can he? Can we get in the top four? What do you think now? Can we just say yes or no, get in that top four, based on what you've seen?
Maybe.
All see.
look, two options he's got. You can go your way, Robbie, and that is all-out attack.
Yeah.
And to do that, to get the two forwards on the pitch away from home, you go 4-4-2, don't you, with a diamond, for me. But teams don't play two forwards away from home. And you give up...
City do sometimes.
Do they?
Sometimes they'll have two up front.
I thought they were 4-3-3.
They'll go bold.
So no, he don't now. He has Silva on one side, he has Sterling on the other, and he has Aguero just down the middle. Silva for Bernardo Silva can either work back into midfield or play out wide. So they've got a shape and a system, a 4-3-3. Same as Liverpool. There's only one forward there. Liverpool play three up. Firmino plays as a number 10 and he's the striker. He's coming deep all the time. So we've got two options. We either go for that 4-2-3-1 to keep it solid and then look to hit teams on the counter. Or, we, as you say, we play the two forwards. We're going to have to play a diamond four midfield. Can we get top four, Robbie? Of course we can. We're still there, aren't we? So yes.
Okay, we're still there. We're hanging on. But we've got to put in much better performances away from home.